Sorry about that, guys. I had to finish this up audibly because my camera, I've been having some issues. But anyway, let me continue on with this video. But yeah, in the military, we don't have time to be being a crybaby or crying about little things that are petty, man. You know what I'm saying? We got a job that we got to get done, and we just want to get that mission accomplished and be done with it. You know what I'm saying? And get it done the best way possible. Nobody has time, for foolish jargon, you know. And for individuals that don't want to pull their weight, they don't want to pull their load, and they're trying to get over, or they rather keep going on around circles about a certain issue instead of fixing or solving it. And I do notice that on the civilian side, on the outside, you know, it can be like that. So sometimes those things can cause tension and frustration, to veterans. You know what I'm saying? We want to get it done and get on with it. Let's see. What is another thing? Let's see here. Identity crisis in the military. Your purpose and your role is defined on the outside, on the inside. You basically have to rebuild and rebrand, who you are. And I'll give you a real good example. Um, let's take leadership in the military. A person could have been, say, maybe a high-ranking individual inside the military, carried major leadership and responsibilities, but when they come out on the civilian side, it's like you starting all over again. Even if you held a high-ranking position in the military and you transition into the equivalent on the civilian side, you still, as a veteran, are starting life all over again, proving yourself all over again. It's kind of like rebranding, what I'm saying, yourself to the civilian world, unique experiences that you had in the military, many times you will never have those experiences on the civilian side. And it can be, you know, a culture shock, what I'm saying. The civilian side or civilian life, it is a different world, than what we are or become accustomed to when we're in the military in uniform, you know. So, the culture shock, man, the rebuilding and the rebranding is real. Let's see, another thing, yeah, respect changes. Uniform, when you have that military uniform on, it equals instant respect. People know you're a part of something worthwhile, and they know that you stand, for something. So being in that uniform, man, yeah, you stand out, what I'm saying, and you represent something, and people respect that. On the civilian side, hey, what I'm saying, you blend in, what I'm saying. Now me, like I said, I like it. On the civilian side, I like it. I did my time in the military, and it was well, what I'm saying, worth it. But when it was time to go, it was time to go. On the civilian side, I like it. You know, I like the freedom, what I'm saying, of just blending in, nobody knowing who I am, what I'm saying. I'm good with it, what I'm saying. With some veterans, they don't necessarily make the adjustment so easy. So some vets, they feel lost or they feel invisible on a civilian side when they get out, what I'm saying. So that's just something to be mindful of, what I'm saying, to you guys in the military when you get out, like I said, everybody don't have, a lot of people like me, I had a smooth adjustment, what I'm saying. I might have had maybe some minor issues here or there, but for the most part, I was happy to retire. It's like, hey, my time is done. I'm ready to be a civilian, what I'm saying. So, all veterans don't have the same experience. What I'm saying? Some adjust easier than others. Some it's no problem. It's like, hey, I'm out. I get to start a second career or go do something else that I want to do, and I like it. And others, what I'm saying, they can feel invisible and lost. What I'm saying? So for those vets that are like that, hopefully, maybe you can reach out to the VA and try to find different support groups. What I'm saying, or churches, whatever like that. To find somewhere where you can fit in and where you can find a sense of community, or try to find things that you enjoy where you can be and find others that enjoy those same things where you can be around like-minded people. Often, many vets, they like to meet up with other veterans, you know what I'm saying? That's what they feel comfortable with, you know what I'm saying? Different strokes for different folks, and everybody's needs are different. Let's see. All right, this right here is a good one. Too much freedom, too fast. Unstructured. No schedule. No chain of command. For some vets, you know what I'm saying, the adjustment or the culture shock of having that type of freedom. To some of them, it can feel overwhelming. To some of us, hey, we embellish it, and we are happy, you know what I'm saying, to be free. You know what I'm saying, but every person is different. You know what I'm saying. Every vet, is different, and we all have unique experiences, and we are different as individuals. You know what I'm saying. Like I said, myself, hey, I was happy, you know what I'm saying? Hey, this is freedom, man. You know what I'm saying? So I myself and others are good with it, you know what I'm saying? But there may be some that may struggle, you know what I'm saying, with having that type of freedom, moving from the military like that, just happening instantly when they first get out. The mental adjustment is real. Yes, indeed. Noise, crowds, lack of discipline, everything feels different. Your mind is still in the military mode for probably, it could be months or years, depending on the individual. And for those military members or veterans that may struggle or suffer from post traumatic stress disorder, that right there is a big one. Now that, you know what I'm saying, I understand. You know what I'm saying? Having struggled with PTSD myself, I really do understand you vets that struggle with post-traumatic stress disorder, and I definitely recommend, you know what I'm saying, getting, the help that you need, in order to deal, with that, you know what I'm saying. That definitely can be, traumatic, and it can be a big shock, you know what I'm saying, to your senses, I had an experience, and I told this in a video that I made a couple of years ago about post-traumatic stress disorder, and I'm trying to think. I think it might have been another video I told it. And what happened to me is that at the time I was in Japan, and I had come out of the combat zone from Iraq. I'm coming out of bombs, bullets, mortars, you know what I'm saying, explosive, devices, everything, you name it, going off. Going around the fob, you know what I'm saying, trying to find escaped prisoners, long work hours, and just the stress that was in that environment. And so what happened is that when I left Iraq, when it was my time to go, you know what I'm saying, and my unit had got, relieved, you know what I'm saying, it was time for us to roll out. Well, I went back to my original duty station, and I had been in Iraq, you know what I'm saying, about a year. And what happened is that you're sending me back to, this is two extremes, and in the culture shock, it was too much. 24 hours ago, you know what I'm saying, I was in a combat zone, where things are bombs over Baghdad, and now you send me to Japan, to one of the most peaceful societies on the planet. And the shock was too much for me. And so I don't even remember how I got from Narita Airport. I remember I was in Narita Airport, but I couldn't remember how I got home. I didn't remember how to get home. And I remember that I had my bags and my gear with me, and I was stuck in Narita Airport. And what happened, I got confused, and everything started spinning around like I was getting dizzy. You know what I'm saying? Because of the mental stress, of the two environments, within that short period of time. And I kept trying to figure out, how, do I get from this airport? I couldn't remember how to get home. And somehow by fluke chance, and I thank God for it, somehow by fluke chance, in the airport, I stumbled across where the train station was. Where you can, from the airport, you can just walk down or take the escalator down to the train station. And I somehow took like a logical guess. You know what I'm saying? The pieces, I said, well, I remember I came here this way, but I don't remember how to get from the Rita airport. How do I get back to my house? And so I picked, a train in the subway. I jumped on it, you know what I'm saying? And the only thing I had to go by that let me know that I was back, you know what I'm saying, home in my area in Japan was by the train stop. Where I lived at in Japan at the time was in the suburbs of Tokyo, and the train station was it was outdoors. So I went in, on a subway, you know what I'm saying. Then it came back up out the tunnel, and I had obviously ways to go on the subway, but all I could do, I remembered, by memory, I remembered what, what I'm saying, my area and what the train station where I lived at, what it looked like. That's how I figured out, what I'm saying, how to get home. Other than that, I was lost. What I'm saying? I literally, I was lost. And I was still in the military, at the time, but I was disoriented. I was, what I'm saying, confused. What I'm saying? I had a bunch of brain fog, and I was literally going through shock. It was too much for me to be in an environment that peaceful. I was used to chaos. What I'm saying? The combat zone, the stress. What I'm saying? And rigors. What I'm saying? Of combat. What I'm saying? I become accustomed to that, and to go back to Japan in 24 hours, it was just way too much. I mean, and I was in really, really good shape, but it's like, if I wasn't in the shape that I was, I felt like the shock alone felt like it could have caused me a heart attack. You know? So I'm saying this, I'm saying to my vets that struggle with PTSD, I understand, what I'm saying, and I get where you at, what I'm saying, because, I've been there. What I'm saying? I've been there, what I'm saying? I know what it's like, what I'm saying, I spent 30 days sleeping in my closet. What I'm saying, one time. What I'm saying? So I understand. And my boys, what I'm saying, that's been in combat, what I'm saying, they understand. When you're hearing, what I'm saying, noises and you think it's a bomb or gunshots, what I'm saying, bam, they hitting the ground, what I'm saying, on the floor, what I'm saying, out of their beds, what I'm saying, and taking cover, what I'm saying, I dig it, what I'm saying. So, I get it, and so for my vets and my military members right now, what I'm saying, if you're suffering from any form of PTSD, get the help, what I'm saying, that you need. Trust me. Get the help you need. Because all of this stuff, what I'm saying, and your experiences in the military, all of this compounded. You may not think that it's going to affect you, but I'm telling you, what I'm saying, if you don't get treated and get the help that you need, when you come out on the civilian side, so it can be too much sometimes of a culture shock. It really can. What I'm saying? So, but yeah, but noise, crowds, lack of discipline, everything feels different. Your mind, what I'm saying, still in military mode could be for months or for years. And so, if you need, what I'm saying, any help adjusting, what I'm saying, get it. Get it, and don't be ashamed of it. Let's see. Can you reinvent yourself? Okay, you aren't losing who you are. You're adding a new chapter. Some veterans, I'll say some veterans have mental toughness. Civilians rarely understand. What I'm saying? Well, maybe I'm going to have to change that to a lot. Yeah, I'm going to have to say quite a few, what I'm saying, because of what they put us through in the military and what we have to, all the stuff that we have to do. Some civilians, what I'm saying, understand, but though sometimes a lot of them that have never served, sometimes they don't understand, what I'm saying. They may hear you by ear, but they don't understand by experience because they haven't been through it, But but that's all I have on this one. And guys, I want to apologize, what I'm saying, for the cutting off, of the video, and I had to finish this up, what I'm saying, via audio. So please, I apologize about that. And what I'll do, I just have to just make it into part 1, 2, what I'm saying, or 3. But the main thing, please watch, what I'm saying, all parts. So you understand what it is that I'm talking about. What I'm saying, military versus civilian reality. What I'm saying, real talk. You know what I'm saying? And the shock, you know what I'm saying, it's real. You know what I'm saying? And these are things that nobody tells us, you know what I'm saying, men and women that are coming out the military that are adjusting to civilian life. I mean, I think the TAPS program, you know, they may hit on it a little bit, but ain't nothing like experience. You know, veteran culture shock. It is real. You know what I'm saying? It's real. But I thank you guys, you know what I'm saying, for listening and taking time, you know what I'm saying, out of your day or your evening, you know what I'm saying, just to um, listen and watch, you know what I'm saying, a video. I thank you to all my subscribers. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you. You know, thank you for giving me a reason and purpose for coming to YouTube and wanting to continue to make these videos. I thank you guys very much, and I mean that. But the name of the topic of this video was military life versus civilian life, the shock no one talks about. You know what I'm saying? Well, I just talked about it. But anyway, salute to all my men and women, you know, that are serving in the military, and that includes the reserves and the National Guard as well. You know, I salute you, and I take my hat off to you, and I say thank you for all your service. And I don't just mean the American military. I'm talking about all the militaries around the world, because to serve in the armed forces, it takes something. And I'm going to say it again, to serve in anybody's military, I don't care if it's United States or if it's foreign, it takes something. And it does, you know what I'm saying, build character. You know, so I salute all, you know what I'm saying, all my men and women that are serving in militaries worldwide. And I take my hat off to you and I say thank you. Definitely to my U.S. vets, baby. What's up? You know what I'm saying? Thank you for your service, and thank you to those in the United States. So thank you for your service. And, you know, likewise to all the militaries worldwide. Thank you for your service and for the sacrifices that you make, you know, to get the mission accomplished. But anyway, the name of this channel is Eric Broadus YouTube. That's EricBroadus YouTube.com. Smash the bell to become a subscriber. Hit the hype button to hype the videos. Hit the like or unlike button if you don't like them. You know, either way, leave a comment. Love the dialogue, you know, with you. And please continue to share and like, share, subscribe, you know, and spread it, you know what I'm saying? And also to my followers on Rumble, Snacks123, SNAKZ 123 on Rumble. Thank you. And to all my subscribers and followers over there, I appreciate you equally, just as much as my subscribers on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you for giving me a reason to come to Rumble. And please leave a comment, like it, unlike it, and share, you know, the Rumble channel also. Spread it, guys. You know, also I have my Snacks Thoughts podcast, which I finished this video up on. But SNAKZTHOUGHT Snacks Thoughts. My podcast can be found on Spotify, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, SoundCloud, Radio PBM, and a host of other social media outlets. So please join and share Snacks Thoughts as well. And lastly, I have the 5 best weight loss products, weight loss and nutrition products. Hit the link, you know what I'm saying? Purchase the products, you know, and share the link with others so that they can go in there, purchase the products, and take care of their health as well. Next to God, the next best thing you have is your health. You get health. You get one life, and you got one body. Take care of it, and it will take care of you. But thank you, guys. Thanks for listening, and I am grateful again. Thank you. I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace out. Later.